Frontline Updates, where we delve deep into military strategies and updates from conflict zones. Today, we're discussing the progress of the ongoing special military operation as of July 11, 2025. I'm your host, Sharifa Mohammed, MGT.
I'm Colonel AC Oguntoye, an infantry officer. This week's operations represent a significant escalation in tempo, strike precision, and operational synchronization. The liberation of multiple settlements across 5 sectors shows increasing tactical fluidity and battlefield initiative. The systematic targeting of EW, artillery, and logistics nodes reflects a doctrinal shift toward paralysis warfare, breaking not just combat units, but the infrastructure and command that supports them. The heavy losses inflicted on Ukraine's elite brigades, Western-supplied systems, and support depots may force Kyiv into difficult choices regarding force preservation, frontline thinning, or strategic withdrawals. Simultaneously, Russia's integration of hypersonic weapons and UAVs continues to redefine the deep battle landscape.
Welcome to Frontline Updates, the podcast that brings you in-depth insights into military operations from those leading them on the ground. Today, we're joined by Colonel AC Oguntoye, an infantry officer monitoring critical missions on the progress of the special military operation as of today. Colonel Oguntoye, thank you for being with us.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
Colonel Oguntoye, the last 7 days seem to mark one of the most intense phases of the special military operation so far. What happened from July 5th to July 11th?
You're right, this week was significant in both scope and scale. Between July 5th and July 11th, Russian forces conducted 6 large-scale coordinated strike packages involving hypersonic Kinzhal missiles and unmanned aerial vehicles. These weren't isolated attacks. They were synchronized operations targeting the depth of Ukraine's war-making capacity. We're talking about military-industrial production, energy facilities that power weapons plants, UAV and USV assembly centers, fuel depots, airfields, and even recruitment hubs for Ukraine's armed forces. What's emerging is a doctrine focused not just on destroying what's at the front, but on disrupting the logistical, organizational, and technological backbone of the Ukrainian war effort. These attacks aim to sever the arteries of sustainment, forcing a systemic slowdown in force regeneration and technological adaptation.
Let's break that down by front. Can we start with what happened in the north, particularly around Sumy and Kharkiv?
Yes. The North group of troops pushed aggressively into Ukrainian lines and successfully liberated the settlement of Besilovka in Sumy region. This was more than symbolic. It opened a corridor for deeper envelopment of Ukraine's second-tier defenses. The enemy suffered heavy losses here, over 1,200 personnel in just this sector alone, with notable damage to mechanized, airborne assault, and UAV units. In Kharkiv, Russian forces continued high-pressure engagements with Ukrainian tank and infantry brigades. What stands out is the multi-layered degradation of artillery, 29 field guns destroyed in the north, including American M777S, alongside 5 electronic warfare stations. This reflects a clear Russian priority: neutralize firepower, blind their battlefield sensors, then advance.
We saw reports that more settlements were liberated in the west and center. Can you speak to that?
Yes. In the western sector, Russian forces under the West Group liberated Sobolevka in Kharkiv and Zelenaya Dolina in the Donetsk People's Republic. These gains weren't just tactical, they were supported by the destruction of 25 EW and counter-battery systems and over 100 vehicles, including 5 Western-supplied armored combat vehicles. Ukraine's ability to conduct counterfire has been sharply reduced. Meanwhile, in the central sector, the center group liberated Dakno in the Dnipropetrovsk region and inflicted the highest casualties of the week, over 3,000 Ukrainian servicemen in that axis alone. That number is staggering. The forces they engaged included elite units, Ranger, air assault, Marine brigades, and drone warfare units. Russia is clearly targeting Ukraine's most capable and mobile forces to fracture not just the front line, but the strategic reserve capacity as well.
That level of attrition, especially among Ukraine's elite units, must have serious operational consequences. How is this affecting Ukraine's ability to respond?
It absolutely does. Ukraine's elite formations, like air assault or marine brigades, function as fire brigades. They're the rapid response forces that can plug holes or mount counterattacks. If those units are degraded, operational flexibility collapses. The front becomes more brittle, and even modest penetrations can turn into breakthroughs. Moreover, with UAV and drone brigades being hit, Ukraine's eyes and ears are dimmed. And when combined with the destruction of EW and radar assets, their battlefield awareness narrows, making them more vulnerable to deception and artillery targeting. What we're seeing is a Russian effort to strip away Ukraine's technological edge, piece by piece.
How about the Dnipro front in the south? What role are they playing in this phase of operations?
The Dnipro Group continues shaping operations in Zaporizhia and Kherson, targeting coastal defense and mountain assault units, but their real focus has been on destroying infrastructure and support capacity. They reportedly took out 52 electronic warfare stations and 33 supply depots. That's massive. What this suggests is a preparatory phase for larger flanking operations or the denial of rear area resupply routes for Ukrainian formations currently holding the south. In the south and east, additional settlements like Podobno and Tolstoy were liberated. Ukrainian losses here also climbed above 1,400 personnel, alongside the destruction of tanks, artillery, and armored vehicles. It's a grinding advance, but a methodical one, and it's intended to compress Ukrainian defenses along the entire Donetsk line.
Given this multi-front pressure, what's the overall picture heading into the next phase?
What we're witnessing is a shift from attritional warfare to shaping operations for maneuver dominance. Russia is no longer merely eroding Ukrainian formations, they're now actively preparing for operational encirclement or rear area destabilization. By cutting off EW, destroying drones, degrading elite brigades, and smashing depots, they are forcing Ukraine into a reactive mode. The next phase likely involves deep exploitation, potentially through lateral breakthroughs or even airborne insertions to isolate key nodes. If Ukrainian mobilization and resupply fail to adapt quickly, we may see collapse not from the front, but from within.
Colonel, thank you for providing such a detailed briefing on the current military situation. Your insights are invaluable to our understanding of the conflict's dynamics. And thank you to our listeners for tuning in. Join us next time as we continue to provide up-to-date coverage on global military affairs. Stay with us for more updates and expert analyses on global defense and security issues. Stay informed, stay secure.
Thank you for the opportunity. Today, the Israeli military continues its offensive against Gaza, with reports of intense strikes and civilian casualties. Over the past 24 hours, Israeli strikes have reportedly killed dozens of Palestinians, including children and those seeking aid. Israeli forces conducted raids in several areas of the occupied West Bank, arresting 10 Palestinians. Palestinians sustained injuries in attacks carried out by Israeli settlers in 2 locations in the occupied West Bank. The IDF has reportedly launched new ground incursions in Lebanon, raising fears for the truce.
This has been Frontline Updates. Subscribe for daily military briefings and in-depth strategic analysis. Visit our platform for maps, transcripts, and exclusive Frontline updates from commanders in theater.